This morning on Chris 6 Sunrise, details on the most recent reckless driving arrest and how Corpus Christi police continue cracking down on the issue. Plus, the rain we got about a week ago seems so far away now as lake levels are dropping once again. We'll show you how low they've gotten coming up. And now we're going to go ahead and give you this live look from our SPID Skycam. Be aware of some traffic congestion on westbound SPID, folks. Of course, we will check in with meteorologist Stephanie Lauber for a closer look at our traffic and our forecast. And folks, it is Monday, April 7th. Chris 6 Sunrise starts now. Good morning, folks. Welcome to Chris 6 News Sunrise. Thank you for starting your day and your week with us. I'm Michelle Hoffman. Brian Hoffman is off, but we do have meteorologist Stephanie Lauber back with us this morning. Hey, good morning, Steph.
Good morning. Boy, we are starting off this Monday with some headaches for drivers, especially for those of you who take SPID. So we want to go back and show you this view of SPID from our Skycam, a sea of brake lights here because there appears to be a crash on the westbound portion of SPID, and these backups, they are getting further and further. You can see folks taking the ramp there in a rather unconventional way. Don't recommend that you do that. In fact, the fact that you're watching us this morning gives you that head start you need so you don't get caught in this traffic. We'll show you right now a few things to know before you hit the road. And the first one starts off with this accident. It appears to be along SPID right at Carroll, which is an overpass. So here's what you need to know before you hit the roadways. Alternate routes, because at this point, you wanted to have exited at Everhart. That gives you 2 exits before this crash. That's already backed up. So a good idea could be to completely avoid this area. Take Saratoga, Holly. You could even take Staples and just catch the crosstown as you come through downtown. The morning commute, otherwise unrestricted visibility. No problems from fog this morning. But that accident on SPID is getting worse as far as the backups go. So you'll want to exit at the least at Staples.
Steph, thank you so much. A standoff ended in the arrest of a wanted felon. Police say it started yesterday morning and they attempted a traffic stop in Flower Bluff. The driver, 45-year-old Aaron Granberry, refused to stop, so the chase was called off when it became too dangerous. Investigators then tracked Granberry to a home on Rio Vista Drive near the intersection of Ocean Drive and Ennis Jocelyn. A SWAT team and hostage negotiators were called in, and at some point the vehicle Granberry was sitting in caught fire, and that's when he was taken into custody. He has been charged with violating parole, unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon, evading and resisting arrest as well. Now, more reckless driving arrests were made over the weekend. The Corpus Christi Police Department arrested 3 people. Each of them are charged with reckless driving. All of their vehicles were impounded. CCPD has made at least over 24 reckless driving arrests since March 1st as they continue to crack down on speeding. Now, listen up, Coastal Bend drivers. We do have some road closures that may impact your commute, and it begins today. Northbound I-37 will have lane reductions from the South Interchange to Nueces Bay Boulevard. Beginning Wednesday, April 9th, ramps from northbound Highway 286 to northbound I-37 and northbound I-37 to Port Nueces Bay Boulevard, and the entrance ramp at Stillman Avenue will be closed. Officials say these ramp and road closures are essential in order to complete the work on the new Harbor Bridge. The closures will be in effect until Friday, April 11th. Now, attention neighbors, if you have outstanding citations, but you can't make it to court on weekdays, this announcement may be for you. You can attend the community court at the library on Saturday, April 19th from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. You can speak with a judge to address tickets and violations, request defensive driving, set up payment plans, and resolve any active warrants. It'll be held at the Janet F. Hart Public Library, and that's located at 2629 Waldron Road. Now, due to the recent rain, Vector Control will be spraying for mosquitoes and mosquito larvae this week. Today, they'll be in the Cal Allen, Annaville, and Toloso Midway area. On Tuesday, they'll target the northwest side, the Los Encinos area, and North Beach. On Wednesday, downtown, the west side, parts of the Bay Area, and the south side will be sprayed. The south side will continue to be sprayed on Thursday, along with the area around Moore Plaza and La Palmera Mall. And Friday's spraying will focus on the south side, the A&M Corpus Christi area, and Flower Bluff. Now, just over 1 week ago, we were on the tail end of the most significant rain we've had in months. Although it wasn't a drought buster, the rain did have an impact on our lake levels. On March 22nd, our combined lake levels plunged to 16.9% of capacity. After last week's rain, those levels rose to 17.7%. Now, today we are once again on a downward slide. We're now at 17.4% of combined capacity. The city has been getting reports about a change in the taste and odor of their drinking water. Corpus Christi Water says they recently changed the amount of water they get from the Mary Rhodes pipeline, and at the same time, they're reducing the water brought in from Lake Corpus Christi and the Choke Canyon Reservoir. According to CCW, this change can impact our water quality, and it could be the cause of taste and odor complaints being reported to the city's 311 call center. CCW staff are being sent to homes of people who have called to complain. Water at each location is being tested to determine if it's safe to drink. Now, folks, if you have concerns about your water, call the 311 call center.
Hey there, good morning to you. We are looking at a chilly start for this Monday morning. So before you head up and out the door, grab a sweater. We've got a drop in temperature even from Sunday's chilly start. Have the wide view for yourself. Here's what you're looking at as you wake up on this Monday morning in your neighborhood. Temperatures dropping about 5 to nearly 10 degrees, especially for those inland neighborhoods. We don't usually see a huge change along the coast because the water, that tends to insulate our temperatures pretty well, meaning we don't have a whole lot of change when we come to these cooler starts, but we have some pretty dry air in place, so even still, not a huge spread across the coastal bend other than from the 40s to the 50s. We're looking at temperatures as chilly as 41 degrees for our neighbors waking up in Freer. We bring that up to more of the middle and upper 40s once you start making your way closer to the coast with 48 across San Diego, Alice, and Falfurrias. 44 degrees, the next chilliest temperature we've got in Beeville. We get to about 50 through Robstown, 48 at CCIA, and along the coast, lower 50s for places like Port Aransas, waking up to 53 degrees. Good morning to our neighbors there. But here's what's going on closer in your neighborhood thanks to the Chris 6 Neighborhood Weather Network. Our neighbors sharing their temperatures with us across their neighborhood weather stations. And on the south side, take your pick. 52 degrees off Garden Court, 53 off Wind Willow Drive, 54 off San Benito Drive, and always like to look at the station across the Oso Creek where things tend to be a little bit cooler in the morning, 51 degrees off Southampton Drive. So that dry air is definitely putting a chill in the air too. Less humidity, we tend to feel a little cooler, right? So here's where the rebound comes into the mix. Because our air is dry, it's less dense than humid air with all these water molecules in it. That means it's going to take a lot less to heat it up for the afternoon. And that's where when we have dry air, we can have huge differences between those morning low temperatures and where we end up for the afternoon high temperature. Something to look forward to as our temperatures rebound. And it's still going to be a pretty dry afternoon. Relative humidity is going to be around 20%. Winds more tame today. So even though we'll be feeling fresh, the winds will be friendly. Not blustery like they were the past couple of days. Our humidity won't truly come back to where we're used to seeing it until the later part of the week. So enjoy a pretty fresh afternoon that's so dry we won't have any clouds. Uninterrupted sunshine will help us warm up to the 50s by mid-morning. We get into those 60s around lunchtime, and throughout the afternoon we start to see 70s covering the map. We'll top out in those middle 70s for most neighborhoods, and then after sunset, they're dropping right back down, so expect another chilly start on Tuesday. And while we're off to a dry start for the beginning of the week, will we have any rain in the 7-day forecast? I'll bring that to you coming up.
Sounds good, Steph. Thank you so much. Coming up next on Chris 6 Sunrise, a federal judge is demanding the Trump administration return a man who was mistakenly deported to an El Salvadorian prison by tonight. But will they do so? We'll speak with Scripps News Group Deputy Political Director Joe St. George to find out. Welcome back, folks. 6:12 this Monday morning. You're getting our first live look from our Manny-Cam. He's in your neighborhood on Shoreline Boulevard. Well, on this area, traffic appears to be flowing pretty smoothly there. Thank you so much for that beautiful view, Manny. 51 degrees outside right now. Of course, we will check in with meteorologist Stephanie Lauber in just a bit. But first, we have some of your national headlines. So a federal judge in Maryland is demanding the Trump administration bring home Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia by tonight. Scripps News Group Deputy Political Director Joe St. George joins us live now this morning to provide more context and show us how the Trump administration is responding. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, and this is a story that's growing by the hour. It began as a local story in Maryland. It became a regional story engulfing D.C., and now very much a national and international story. Federal district judge issuing this order on Sunday night. On Friday, the order was given. On Sunday night, it was expanded upon. Judge Zinas, a federal district judge in Maryland, writing, quote, "As defendants acknowledge they, the Trump administration, had no legal authority to arrest him, no justification to detain him, and no grounds to send him to El Salvador," him being Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia. The White House has acknowledged that this individual was, based on an administrative error, sent to El Salvador as part of President Trump's largest deportation task force in American history. This entire story raising questions about the due process that is being extended to migrants and documented immigrants who get detained by ICE, who get arrested by federal immigration authorities. A story that is certainly sweeping Texas, as well as a story that is sweeping every corner of the planet. I was just a few days ago doing a story with our station in Boise, Idaho. This is something being felt in that corner of the country as well. As the federal district judge went on to write, again in this blistering order issued Sunday night, the evidence against Abrego Garcia consisted of nothing more than his Chicago Bulls hat and hoodie, the judge wrote, and a vague, uncorroborated allegation from a confidential informant claiming that he belonged to MS-13. Again, the federal district judge has set a deadline of Monday night for Mr. Garcia to return to the United States. The Trump administration has appealed this, saying that the judge essentially lacks authority to tell the Trump administration what to do on this particular issue. And they've also said that even though the Trump administration and federal officials sent Mr. Garcia to El Salvador, that it's not as simple to just bring him back. We will follow this story very carefully throughout the day. Obviously, this has huge implications and again raises the question about due process when it comes to deporting undocumented immigrants.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. Thank you so much for the information. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey there, good morning to you. A chilly start here across the coastal bend. A lot of our neighbors waking up to 40s and 50s depending on where you are, but even along the coast where we tend to stay a bit warmer, it is chilly. Here, have the wide view for yourself. And yeah, it's definitely a sweater weather kind of morning here. That's spring, right? The transition between winter and summer. Last week, we were doing summer. Looks like for the next couple of mornings, we'll be practicing winter so we can remember what we're heading away from, right? 6:16, your time right now for your weather on the 6s. I've got some good news. We are going to see a rebound this afternoon, but it comes after this chilly start. So looking at things closer in your neighborhood, on the south side, we're waking up to 54 degrees off San Benito Drive, 53 from Pebble Beach Drive down to Bent Trail Drive, Wind Willow Drive, all the way down to this 52-degree reading off Garden Court. Across the Oso Creek, Southampton Drive, giving us a 51-degree reading. So a cool start. You'll probably want a sweater, but again, don't waste your time with a chunky sweater because you won't want it this afternoon. A nice warm-up is underway. We have very dry air in place, which is less dense than when we've got all this humidity and all those water droplets. This takes a lot more energy to heat and cool than the less dense dry air. So for that reason, we're going to see a big difference between the cool morning temps we've got right now and the very pleasant afternoon that lies ahead of us. And with lower humidity, it will feel fresh out there. The wind's even playing nice today as we keep things under 20 miles per hour for the sustained wind. So yes, breezy, but not like yesterday. I think you'll enjoy the forecast this afternoon, maybe have lunch outside. Enjoy the lower humidity until about the later part of the week. That's when muggy meter will be back in the humid category. So as you might have guessed, dry air also means we're not going to see much for rainfall either. So throughout today, we'll get to those 50s by mid-morning, 60s by lunchtime. Throughout the afternoon, we'll get to the 70s, and after sunset, those temperatures are going to drop again. No clouds, uninterrupted sunshine to make for a very nice start to the week. But while we were practicing summer last week, we are going to be off to a cooler start for this week and a drier one, unfortunately. We had some good rain at the beginning of April, I should say the end of March, but we are going to see a dry week because we need that moisture to come back. that's not so great because we are behind for our yearly rainfall and for the month. For the year, it's more than a ½ inch behind, so hopefully we could look at some rain coming down the pipeline as we head closer to May. But as we head through this week, looks to be dry.
A historic win for the high school and middle school bands at GPISD. I'm your neighborhood news reporter Adam Beam, sharing the secrets to their success. Here in the hallways of Gregory Portland High School, you're bound to hear the music of the band. But this week, the music may be a little louder. I'm your neighborhood news reporter Adam Beam, sitting down with the students celebrating a historic win.
The Gregory Portland bands are always hard at work, but this past week, they had the chance to celebrate.
It was very consistent for us, and we were happy. We were happy to achieve the goal that we set out to do.
All 6 bands across the district from the middle and high school celebrating a piece of school history.
And so we go and compete in 2 categories. We perform 3 pieces on stage, and then after that is sight reading, in which we're given a short amount of time to prepare a new piece that we're looking at for the first time.
The band coming back from the annual UIL competition.
Not only made ones in both events, but they were straight ones.
While the bands are no strangers to success at UIL, this year not only saw all 6 bands competing for the first time, but also saw all 6 bands accomplishing a milestone.
It was really pure excitement for everybody because once Mr. Anderson got on the bus and showed us our really big trophy, everybody started screaming. That's how much it meant to us.
And for seniors like David Sanchez, the major victory will hold a special place in his heart.
It was a great feeling. It's something very memorable, something that I can reflect on when I'm older, when people ask about my high school years. It's just a great feeling.
While the bands are celebrating, their season is far from over, with a spring concert and more competitions on the way. Reporting from Gregory Portland High School, I'm your neighborhood news reporter Adam Beam, Chris 6 News.
Hey there, here's the view from atop the USS Lexington. Our first community bank camera shows a pretty easy commute here along 181 between Portland and downtown Corpus Christi, up and over the Harbor Bridge. But that is not the case for every commute this morning. We'll show you where the chaos is this morning along SPID. Believe it or not, this is a lot better than what we had just a short time ago. We are seeing things a lot less congested, I should say, on SPID itself. A lot of folks have taken those access roads or been diverted to them, so it's best to avoid SPID westbound. That's toward the Crosstown Expressway if you can. Exit by Staples, that's your best bet. But here's a look at what you can do as you get ready to hit the roadway. Alternate routes, Saratoga, Holly, Staples, those are good alternatives. And for every other commute, we're not dealing with any visibility issues, no fog or mist. So as you head out, make sure you stay safe or you drive safe. We'll see you on the other side of this quick break.
Now, weather on the 6s.
Hey there, good morning to you. The view from the Manicam this morning is much more tranquil than what we've been showing you on SPID. Folks moving smoothly here on Shoreline. Just a reminder to mind that speed as you head up and at 'em this morning. No need to rush. We don't have any fog or mist that's going to slow you down. Just that one incident on SPID westbound that's heading toward the Crosstown Expressway. So give yourself a little bit of extra time and avoid that commute if you can. You'll want to exit by Staples if you're on SPID heading that way. And your options are taking Saratoga, Holly, even Staples up through downtown might be a good option, but definitely not here. Looks like emergency crews are going to be out there for a while. But heading now to the weather, we are looking at a pretty cool start to the morning. The change in temperature across our neighborhoods doesn't seem like a whole lot. Yesterday we had kind of a work up to that cold weather, but yeah, it's still chilly this morning. I can't dress it up any other way. So how do I do for yourself? The difference from this Monday morning to 627 on your Sunday morning is about 5 to 10 degrees across the board. Even feeling the change along the coast where the water tends to insulate our temperature, not allowing it to be easily influenced by things like cold fronts and the like. But we're waking up in the 40s and the 50s this morning. A lot more 40s spreading across this map as we go on into this broadcast. 50s only for the coastal neighbors right now. 52 in Port A, 56 in the Bluff at NAS Corpus Christi. Everyone else is in the 40s and feeling chilly, but don't despair. just grab a sweater with you. You can leave it at your desk for lunchtime because we are going to have a nice rebound as we go through the rest of this afternoon. But diving in closer to the south side, thanks to the Chris 6 Neighborhood Weather Network, our temperatures here as cool as 51 degrees across the Oso Creek at Southampton Drive. In the lower 50s, though, for the rest of us, getting as warm as 54 degrees off San Benito Drive. So again, chilly start, but a nice afternoon. Why? Because we have dry air in place. So we're going to see a big difference between the morning to the afternoon. That's because dry air is less dense. There's a lot less for the sun to have to heat and cool. Whereas when we have humid air, all these water droplets adds a lot to the equation. So it's a lot of work to heat up humid air. Not so much for dry air, and that's why we'll see a great rebound into this afternoon. How do the middle 70s sound? Probably a lot better than these 50s feel right now. It's also going to come with very little humidity, so as humidity drops to around 20%, our winds will be much more friendly today. We're keeping it under 20 for the sustained winds. We get around 15 miles per hour. That means we're dry. And we're going to stay dry at least through the middle of the week. The later half of the week, we'll see the rebound of humidity. So today's temperatures rising through the 70s will feel nice and fresh. Your Corpus Christi day planner looks like this. Uninterrupted sunshine throughout today will help us get to about 76 degrees here in Corpus Christi. Some warmer neighborhoods inland, but generally feeling very pleasant out there. Now, last week, we practiced summer. This week, we're going to be a little bit cooler than this time frame in April, but we could use some more rain. It would be great if we could get that into the forecast. Yes, we had some significant rain more than a week ago, but it looks like we're setting up for a pretty dry week. And that's not good because our rain deficit is growing. We're behind now by more than an inch, or a half inch, I should say, of rainfall, 0.6. So we need to head that number in another direction. We don't have any rain in the 7-day forecast. Beyond that, the extended outlook from April 13th through 17th looks like we are likely to be drier than we typically are during this stretch of April too. So while we're dry, enjoy the sunshine. Temperatures will be warming up along with the increase in humidity through the end of the week.
In case you haven't noticed, we all still have access to TikTok. Friday, Trump announced the deadline has been extended for 75 days. In a social media post, the president said his administration is working hard on a deal to save TikTok. The news came ahead of the deadline Saturday. Last year, former President Joe Biden signed a law that required the China-based parent company to sell the app or face a U.S. ban. The law was set to go into effect in January, but Trump initially delayed it. Now, this could be another rough day for retirement funds after S&P 500, Dow, and NASDAQ futures plunged yesterday. Analysts say the reason is the sweeping new tariffs from President Donald Trump. Amy Kiley reports on the moves giving investors headaches.
The tariffs are coming.
The Trump administration is doubling down on tariffs as stock markets around the world plunge. Those in Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Australia, and New Zealand report early losses today. Tumbles in U.S. stock futures yesterday follow back-to-back sell-offs last week.
I went back and I looked for drops of 15% with a president who was inheriting a bull market. There's only one dude on your screen. It's Donald John Trump.
Here's the president responding last night when asked about the market volatility.
I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something.
A universal 10% tariff on all imports is now in effect after starting on Saturday. This Wednesday, additional duties on products from dozens of countries are set to begin.
There is no postponing. They are definitely going to stay in place for days and weeks.
President Donald Trump says he only wants to make deals with countries that close trade deficits with the U.S. He insists tariffs will be good for Americans in the end and predicts a resurgence of U.S. manufacturing. Experts agree the duties might help certain domestic producers, but most mainstream economists say they will also lead to higher prices.
Basically, at this point, you average all these different companies together who put forecasts out on the chance of a recession. It's about 50-50.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Here in your neighborhood, the Coastal Bend State Veteran Cemetery on I-37 has changed its hours. Visiting hours have been extended. The Coastal Bend Veteran Cemetery, along with all Texas veteran cemeteries, will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and that schedule will remain in effect until September 30th. The Veterans Land Board extended the hours for spring and summer to account for longer days.
All right, time to look at how the roadways are treating drivers this morning, because we do have some backups to tell you about. Not here, a beautiful sunrise starting to take place as we soak in the view for the CCAC camera out at Snoopy's. No trouble over the JFK Causeway. Let's take you to where the trouble is this morning for anybody who takes SPID westbound, which, as we know here in the Coastal Bend, is a lot of people. There are strongly advised to take another commute this morning. Right now, we're seeing those backups transition as emergency crews get drivers off SPID because of the closed roadways onto the access roads. So here's what to know before you hit the road. We had a crash at on SPID westbound at Carroll, and that has made for significant delays because the road is closed. So alternate routes. You can avoid SPID completely by taking Saratoga, Holly, or even Staples. If you get onto SPID safe from the Bluff or the Island, exit by Staples. Trust me, don't even try the access roads. They're very busy. But thankfully, no issues from visibility. The morning commute otherwise is uninterrupted. So as you head out this morning, make sure you stay safe and you drive safe. Let's look at your traffic report. Your forecast is next.
I'm Tony Jaramillo, your neighborhood news reporter here in Calallen. Usually every spring, drivers along I-37 enjoy something beautiful along the sides of the highway. But so far, that hasn't happened this year. Coming up, I'll tell you what's missing from the scenery.
Now, say hello to your neighbors. This is your Chris 6 News Sunrise Shoutouts.
Good morning, Sunrise Team. We're the Gregory Portland High School Band, wishing everyone a great day.
Now, next time we want to hear the sound of their music because they look awesome this morning. Thank you guys for sending in your shout out video. And of course, folks, if you want to send us your own video, you can scan the QR code on your screen or head to our website, christv.com.
From Chris 6, this is 20 minutes of non-stop news.
Yes, we are starting that 20 minutes of nonstop news with a live look from our Manny Cam. He's in your neighborhood on Shoreline Boulevard. Finally, we get to see a little bit of sunrise on Chris 6 Sunrise. Pretty awesome view there, Manny. Thank you so much for that. 48 degrees outside right now, folks. We will check in with meteorologist Stephanie Melber in just a bit. But first, we have some of your neighborhood news. Now, if you have outstanding citations but you can't make it to court on weekdays, this announcement may be for you. You can attend the community court at the library on Saturday, April 19th from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. You can speak with the judge to address tickets and violations, request defensive driving, set up payment plans, and resolve any active warrants. It'll be held at the Janet F. Hart Public Library. That's located at 2629 Waldron Road. Now, the second annual Community Health Fair kicked off at Cole Park yesterday afternoon. The event featured free health screenings and information on different conditions that impact neighbors across the Coastal Bend. The fair also allowed neighbors to receive information on women's health and overall wellness. Neighborhood news reporter Tyrese Boone spoke with Community Health Fair coordinator Sharon Williams, who said she's eager to give neighbors the help they need.
We are living in these days when times are very hard and everybody needs a helping hand. And so with the community, knowing the resources available, that would make for a better community for all of us.
Williams also said the event will be set for next year soon.
All right, here's the latest update on the very slow traffic. For those of you trying to take SPID westbound, this has been a tough commute. So beware, if you are one of the folks who takes SPID into town from the Bluff or the Island, you'll want to exit by SPID because while traffic appears to be moving along SPID again, looks like law enforcement is reopening the highway. We are still pretty backed up. So some alternates, Saratoga, Holly, even Staples up there downtown. Those are some of the best I can offer you with this. But yeah, it was a crash that happened around 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning near Carroll Lane. So that's not an overpass, and things got slow very quickly. So please be careful out there this morning. Thankfully, we're not seeing any trouble from the weather. It is a cool start, but visibility, not a problem because it's very dry out there. So we'll get another check on how the forecast is doing. But if you're getting ready to head up and out the door, remember, as you head out, make sure you stay safe and you drive safe. That's a look at your traffic report. More in that 7-day forecast ahead.
Now, 6 things to know before you go.
In your 6 things you need to know, a standoff ended in the arrest of a wanted felon. Police say it started yesterday morning. They attempted a traffic stop in Flower Bluff, and the driver, 45-year-old Aaron Granberry, refused to stop. The chase was then called off when it became too dangerous. Investigators then tracked Granberry to a home on Rio Vista Drive near the intersection of Ocean Drive and Ennis Jocelyn. A SWAT team and hostage negotiators were called in, and at some point the vehicle Granberry was sitting in caught fire, and that's when he was taken into custody. He has been charged with violating parole, unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon, and evading and resisting arrest. Now, more reckless driving arrests were made over the weekend. The Corpus Christi Police Department arrested 3 people. Each of them are charged with reckless driving. All of their vehicles were impounded. CCPD has made at least over 24 reckless driving arrests since March 1st as they continue to crack down on speeding. Now, due to the recent rain, Vector Control will continue spraying for mosquitoes and mosquito larvae this week. Now, today they'll be in the Calallen, Annaville, and Toloso Midway area. On Tuesday, they'll target the northwest side, the Los Encinos area, and North Beach. On Wednesday, downtown, the west side, parts of the Bay Area, and the south side will be sprayed. The south side will continue to be sprayed on Thursday, along with the area around Moore Plaza and La Palmera Mall. Friday's spraying will focus on the south side, the A&M Corpus Christi area, and Flower Bluff. Now, just over 1 week ago, we were on the tail end of the most significant rain we've had in months. Although it wasn't a drought buster, the rain did have an impact on our lake levels. On March 22nd, our combined lake levels plunged to 16.9% of capacity. After last week's rain, those levels rose to 17.7%. Today, we are once again on a downward slide. We're now at 17.3% of combined capacity. The city has been getting reports about a change in taste and odor of their drinking water. Corpus Christi Water says they recently changed the amount of water they get from the Mary Rhodes pipeline, and at the same time, they're reducing the water brought in from Lake Corpus Christi and Choke Canyon Reservoir. According to CCW, this change can impact our water quality, and it could be the cause of taste and odor complaints being reported to the city's 311 call center. CCW staff are being sent to homes of people who have called in to complain, and water at each location is being tested to determine if it's safe to drink. And folks, if you have concerns about your water, you're asked to call the 311 call center. Listen up, Coastal Bend drivers. We have some road closures that may impact your commute. Beginning today, northbound I-37 will have lane reductions from the south interchange to Nueces Bay Boulevard. Beginning Wednesday, April 9th, ramps from northbound Highway 286 to northbound I-37 and northbound I-37 to Port Nueces Boulevard, and also the entrance ramp at Stillman Avenue will be closed. Officials say these ramp and road closures are essential in order to complete the work on the new Harbor Bridge. The closure will be in effect until Friday, April 11th.
Hey there, good morning. Giving you another update on the slowdowns for SPID westbound. We know a lot of folks take this commute in the morning, and there was an earlier crash. Looks like the highway is back open again, but we are still very congested on both the highway and the access road. So I think it's probably the best idea to avoid this area if you can. If you're coming in from the Bluff or the Island, might want to take that exit by SPID or on SPID by Staples. Otherwise, you could be facing some serious slowdowns. Either way, give yourself some extra time. But we'll get more on your traffic update right now. We're talking weather, and it's a chilly start out there. We have some very dry air in place because of a weekend cold front. That means we've got to take a look at how the dew point temperatures are faring in your neighborhood to then understand what the temperatures will do today. So dew points, they give us an idea of how much water's in the air around us, and we are so dry, we are literally off the charts for at least a few neighborhoods here in the 30s and 40s for dew points. So we're very, very, very dry, even for those coastal neighbors. But we are going to benefit from that, and that it's a chilly start now. This will allow us to warm up as we head on into the afternoon. So how chilly is cold? We're hanging out in the 40s for most neighborhoods. 50s reserved only for those coastal friends that are waking up in the Bluff. And AS Corpus Christi reporting a temperature of 56, or maybe in Port A, 52, your temperature right now. Everybody else in the 40s. So we can dive in closer, though. How's it looking on the south side? According to the Chris 6 Neighborhood Weather Network, we are waking up in the lower 50s here. 51 now off Pebble Beach Drive, Bent Trail Drive, Wind Willow. 52 at East Barladock Drive, and 53 off San Benito Drive. We are now at 49 degrees off Southampton Drive across the Oso Creek. tend to be a little cooler. But the rebound I'm talking about comes because dry air is less dense. That means the sun doesn't have as hard of a time to warm up dry air the way it does when we have a lot going on with lots of humidity. It's a lot of water molecules to heat up here. So thankfully, we will benefit from a cool start and a very pleasant afternoon. As humidity remains low, we probably won't have any interruptions to sunshine. No clouds, no rain, and pleasant winds. We're going to keep it under 20 miles per hour for that sustained wind today, right around 15. So humidity is low. It won't be on the rebound until we get to the second half of the week, and even then, not very muggy at all by Corpus Christi and Coastal Bend standards. So for your Corpus Christi day planner, expect today to be very enjoyable. High of 76 degrees. It'll take us a while to get to the 70s, still in the 60s by lunchtime, but feeling phenomenal. Maybe lunch outside on the patio is in your future. But it's kind of the flip-flop of spring, right? Last week we did summer. This week we're going to be a little bit cooler than April tends to be, but how about that rainfall? We had a good drink of water about 10 days ago. We need another because we're still behind on the rainfall by more than a ½ inch. So we've got some making up to do. Doesn't look like we'll do that this week. We're likely to stay dry nearly to Easter. So the odds are not in our favor when it comes to getting rain in the forecast, but looking ahead at the 7-day forecast for our neighbors here in Corpus Christi, our temperatures are going to be on the rise. We'll get to those upper 80s by the end of the week.
It's wildflower season, and there's one specific wildflower that blankets this area along I-37 each spring. But that didn't happen this year. I'm talking about bluebonnets. I'm Tony Jaramillo, your neighborhood news reporter on the south side, telling you why there's been no big bloom.
It's unsettling because that's part of Texas, and when you don't have your bluebonnets, it's not the same.
Springtime staple in Texas is looking a little sparse this year. Bluebonnets, usually blanketing highways and parks, are harder to spot around Corpus Christi this wildflower season.
There is a significant reduction in bluebonnets all across South Texas. You drive along the roadways, you'll see a few here and there. Usually we're seeing entire blankets of bluebonnets.
The drought that started last fall has stunted the flower's growing cycle.
And that's when many wildflowers are germinating. They'll become small plants, and then when spring rains come, those plants go from being dormant to growing very quickly and putting out flowers.
Executive Director of the South Texas Botanical Gardens, Michael Womack, says we may see a few more blooms, just not the sea of blue we've come to expect. For Texans, these are more than just flowers.
It kind of breaks up the monotony when it's out there, because you really see them growing and stuff.
They're just what Texas is about, is your bluebonnets.
Michael Womack says it's not just the bluebonnets that didn't produce a high yield this spring, mentioning other wildflowers also suffered from the ongoing drought. On the south side, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Tony Jaramillo, Chris 6 News.
Tony, thank you so much. So here are a few facts you may not know about bluebonnets. Not all bluebonnets are blue. They also come in white, red, pink, and purple. In 1901, the Texas legislature designated the bluebonnet as our state flower. But did you know bluebonnets are toxic? All parts of the plant contain compounds that can harm the nervous system. But it is not illegal to pick them from the side of the road. However, the Department of Public Safety urges you to use caution. And finally, if you've ever wondered why bluebonnets bloom along Texas highways, you can thank TxDOT for that. Each year, TxDOT buys about 30,000 pounds of wildflower seeds, including bluebonnets, to sow along the state's highways. Now some national news. As severe storms hammer the South and Midwest, the death toll continues to increase. In Little Rock, police say a 5-year-old child was killed when a massive tree fell on the child's home during a storm. It happened Saturday when straight-line winds caused the tree to come crashing down. So far, it's being reported that at least 19 people have been killed in the storms across the South and Midwest, with 10 deaths reported in Tennessee. Excessive rainfall has inundated portions of the Mid-South to Ohio Valley, resulting in severe flooding. Drone footage shows the flooded town of Belleville, Ohio, on Saturday after heavy rain and severe storms swept through the region. A bridge, trees, and buildings were seen partially submerged. 4 weak tornadoes were also confirmed in southwest Ohio that brought down some trees and power poles. The National Weather Service warned of life-threatening, catastrophic, and potentially historic flash flood events in certain areas in posts shared on X. Now, heavy rainfall is causing severe flooding problems along the Ohio River in western Kentucky. In Dawson Springs, the floodwater covers several blocks. Kentucky's governor says 2 people have died in the state due to the storms. Across the state, more than 500 roads have been closed. Floodgates are being installed along the Ohio River, where officials learned the river is not rising as fast as they thought. Instead of having just days to prepare for a 50-foot crest, they now have about a week. Now here's a look at what's trending in the Coastal Bend. The Corpus Christi Hooks have their home opener tomorrow as they'll play host to the San Antonio Missions. Now the Hooks have a fresh look for this season, but the new logo is just one of the changes for the Hooks this year. They're also bringing in their 10th manager, Ricky Rivera. At 31 years old, Rivera is the youngest manager in Hooks history. The first 2,000 fans in attendance will receive a free t-shirt. Today is International Beaver Day. So here's some fun facts about beavers. They're the national animal of Canada. They have a set of transparent eyelids that allow them to see underwater, and they work during the night to build their dams. International Beaver Day was created in 2009. Beavers, wetlands, and wildlife preserves by that organization. Now here's an excellent way to get involved in your neighborhood. Head over to the free egg hunt by the bay. The event, hosted by the city of Corpus Christi, features more than 15,000 eggs waiting to be found. It'll be held at the Water's Edge Great Lawn from 12 to 2 p.m. on Saturday, April 12th. You can also bring your pets along and enjoy games, food trucks, prizes, and a visit from the Easter Bunny. That address is 602 South Shoreline Boulevard. And a well-known Easter tradition needs your help. The 83rd annual Sunrise Passion Play is right around the corner, and there is an open call for actors, volunteers, lovers of Christ, and seekers, as well as staff. The group welcomes all denominations and all ages, no experience necessary, and anyone interested can attend the rehearsals at Cole Park Amphitheater every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Everything is provided for you, and all you have to do is show up. Now, I'm pretty sure the weather was pretty cool for them if they attended yesterday.
I kind of fought back and forth between putting the sweater on, taking the sweater off, putting the sweater on, taking it off, because in the sunshine, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
And, that's going to be the same thing today. The difference will be the wind is going to play nice today.
Huh. I like
Something to look forward to. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the sunshine, because you mentioned something a short time ago that I think is a little bit of a silver lining for folks. So, of course, daylight saving time. Chris 6 Sunrise, we don't have as much opportunity to show you the sunrises as much. They're coming back, slowly but surely. Earlier starts, later sets. So here's a look at today's sunrise and sunset times. We are looking at sunrise that is upon us here very soon. We are looking at sunrise officially 7:13 a.m. and then we'll say goodnight to the sun around 7:51 p.m. Something to look forward to for sure if you are a lover of that daytime warm feeling that we could sure use right now with our temperatures starting out in the 40s. And just a few 50s along the coast. Yes, this is April. The back and forth transition season means some days we'll do summer, some days we'll do winter. And well, last week was summer. Yeah, winter's getting its turn this morning, isn't it? 6:56 your time right now. And as we take a look at the dew point temperature, this is something that we look at not for temperature so much, but really for how much water is in the air around us, right? And we are so dry, some neighborhoods are off the charts with 30s for dew point temperatures. So this is actually going to work in our favor this afternoon. We'll warm up nicely with low humidity. That means the rebound in temperature heading toward the afternoon is just going to be spectacular. Check it out. We get to the 50s by mid-morning, near the 70s, but still in the 60s by lunchtime. The winds do pick up, but we're going to keep it under 20 miles per hour for the sustained winds. So something at least to look forward to today over yesterday. Uninterrupted sunshine will keep us in the middle 70s for the afternoon, and overall just a really pleasant forecast as we head through the later part of today. How long does it last, though? Low humidity is not a thing we deal with very often here in April and into the summer, right? It's South Texas after all, and we're in the Coastal Bend. The humidity will make a rebound for the end of the week, but even then, not too bad. So some enjoyable weather over the next 7 days. Now, the cost, While we won't have enough moisture for clouds today, uninterrupted sunshine abounds, but we could really use some rainfall, and that is just not in the cards for us. So as we go across the Monday time frame here into the afternoon, 1:30, inland neighborhoods will start to see those 70s first, and through the heart of the day, we all kind of rebound to those middle 70s, feeling really, really nice. So for our neighbors in Rockport and Kingsville, here's a look at your 7-day forecast. We're going to see a windy situation picking up by the late week, but temperatures slowly making their way back up to where we'd normally expect them for this time of the year. And here in Corpus Christi, about the same. Notice no one really has much for rainfall here over the next 7 days, but some beautiful weather. Now, we don't have rain and we're behind by more than a ½ inch of rain. Enjoy this pleasant weather. We are still hoping to get some rain into the forecast before the month is done. So as long as we can keep getting some rain into the picture slowly but surely, especially if it doesn't even happen here, if it happens up in the hill country, that would also benefit us because it's the watershed in general. So some silver linings still. Don't be discouraged by a sunny forecast here.
Yeah, I mean, sunny forecast. We'll look on the brighter side, right?
Exactly. And you know what? Hey, great time to get outside. Enjoy it without the humidity. Don't worry. June, July, August are right around the corner, so appreciate it now.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Steph. Glad you're back, by the way.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, and thank you guys for joining us for our Chris 6 Sunrise for a newscast. We hope to see you guys later at noon for more news from your neighborhood.
Bye.